and out the newsletter, and everything was just it was wild. Like the launch was really wild. We didn't expect it to launch like that.
What's up, everyone? Mark Pacoda here. In this episode of Masters of Crowdfunding, we got Laia Gonzalez, and I just finished up the interview with her. It was awesome. So she is one of the co-founders of Wonderbow Games, along with her husband, another husband and wife duo. I feel like I've been interviewing tons of them on this podcast, which is awesome. And their latest game, KELP, did over 1.4 million euros on Kickstarter. So it was a huge launch. She actually did another one before that the year prior. And so this is the second one that they've launched. And she really gets into the specifics about, how she was able to do this, the putting together the puzzle piece, as she called it, in terms of making this campaign a reality and the success that it was. And then also, what challenges she's been running into after the successful campaign and what she's focusing on now and what's coming up next. So I really think you're going to love this episode of Masters of Crowdfunding, and I hope you enjoy. All right. We are live. Laia, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. We're excited, especially because you're telling me right before we hit play how tired you are. Why is that? I think it's an interesting story. I had never heard of it. I had to ask you again. I was like, what did you say? Where did you go? On a board game cruise, I think is what you said. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So there is a company here in Germany, like a small startup that organizes board game cruises on cargo ferries. So we go from the northern part of Germany to Finland and back. And then we're on the boat for 3 days. We have to leave the boat for 5 hours because they have to clean it. But otherwise, we're just sitting around playing, like 200 people sitting in one big room playing games. From the moment they wake up until the eyes fall down and they are way too tired and need to go to bed. So I went to bed every day, like at 4:30 in the morning, and woke up pretty early so we could continue playing, of course.
That's awesome. Is it mostly, like, are people bringing new games or games that they're making?
No, they actually have a huge collection on board. So it's prepared, and they have the newest games. They have also older games, and you can just, if you're standing there, like, looking at the games and choosing the next one, you have, like, it doesn't take even, like, 10 seconds. You have someone coming up to you, oh, should we play that together? So you find new people all the time to play games. And they also organize, like, quizzes, and they made a quiz in the sauna on the boat. I didn't participate there, but it sounded really fun. And then it's also a great opportunity to play games like Blood on the Clock Tower where you need like 14 people to come together and play a big social induction game. So there's a good spot to try those games too.
That's awesome. I've never heard of a company like this. I feel like they need to bring it to the States. Maybe it exists. I have no idea.
It exists. It does. Yeah.
Oh, does it? Oh, really?
Yeah. The Dice Tower crew, they do board game cruises too. But that's a bit different because they actually use cruise ships, and we are just on a ferry. So, like, we share the space with truck drivers that are just transporting cargo from Germany to Finland.
That's awesome. Very cool. A way to make it make more use out of the ferry, I guess. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first time that we've, I think, officially met, right? You've worked with our team, and when preparing for this, I was talking to Maria on our team, who was the first one that met you, and she's telling me, she's like, Laia has done so much stuff in her career, not just Wonderbow and KELP, which is what we worked with you on, but I've heard you've launched your own craft or non-alcoholic craft brewing company and sold it. You've written a book. You have your own creative studio. You also had the biggest indie documentary in Germany in 2019 and sold it to Netflix. Mm-hmm. And then you also have Wonderbow Games. So how are you doing all this stuff? That's like so many different things.
That's true. So I do all of this together with my husband and partner in life, kind of. A couple of years ago, we met in the agency where we worked together previously, and a couple of years ago, we decided to quit the big agency and just do our own project, because we who have a really big creative drive to just do things. And we're starting with the documentary, and when this was successful, we thought, maybe we can follow up with a book. And the beer idea came just on the side, so I was handling like both companies at the same time. The beer company we didn't sell in the end. Well, we sold the brand, but we didn't sell the company as a whole. We just closed it because it didn't really survive the whole pandemic. But we left on a good note, though. We had a really good deal in the end, and then we decided it's better to stop now than just keep trying. And and then we followed up with our first card game, Hunters of the Lost Creatures, which is also a project that my husband Sönke invented. And it was sitting in our drawers for like years. And when we closed on the beer company, we thought, okay, we need something new to create apart from running our own marketing company to actually earn money. We need some other creative project to just spend the money we earn. So we chose to do the card game, and we just felt that the whole board game, card game industry, everyone that we met was so nice that we decided actually we want to do more of this and not just only one game. So that's why we founded Wonderbow, and that's where everything started.
Everything started to then eventually launching KELP, which we'll talk about in a moment. But so going back to the start of Wonderbow, was this something that you were trying to make into like a big thing, or like your main thing even? Or like, what was the idea behind Wonderbow at the beginning, and like what were your goals with it?
So at the very beginning, we thought we're gonna do this card game, and then we will see how it goes, and we will go from there. But when we noticed that actually like working in this industry and just like going to conventions and meeting so many players all the time, and also meeting all the other publishers, was such a nice experience. I mean, they are competitors, but they're like the nicest competitors you can imagine. We actually decided, okay, we really want to do this like for real and try to have Wonderbow be our full-time job at some point. It's not still, even after KELP, so we are thinking about it, and we hope that we can transition into a full-time job at some point. But we actually said, okay, we're gonna really do this, and luckily we met the game designer that designed KELP, because KELP has definitely accelerated those plans for sure.
Is your full-time job your studio, Avalia?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's our like we do marketing for other companies. For instance, maybe you know the German company Zwilling, which is the knives company. So we do advertising and marketing campaigns and stuff like that, like for clients like Zwilling. And we also do photo shootings and film production and everything at once, like a 360 degrees marketing stuff.
Got it. I'm definitely going to want to dig in later to, the Wonderbow not being your full-time thing currently, but how KELP has accelerated that. Because I think some people will look at the campaign, it did, 1.4 million euros or over that, and be like, wow, you're rich, like that's, you're done.
You're a millionaire now.
Probably, yeah, exactly. But there's a lot more that goes into it. So we'll get into that a little bit later. I actually want to now switch to KELP, but talk about what was how did you create that game? Take me through the idea for it originally, and how you got it to the point of, okay, this is the game that we're going to launch next on Kickstarter.
So we were standing in Essen back in 2022, I believe it was, and we were selling Lost Creatures, and the game designer Carl Robinson just walked up and talked to Sönke on the first time. And he just pitched the idea of it, like, hey, I have a new game. Do you want to maybe play it? It's 2-player, shark versus octopus. So that was the pitch. And I know that Sönke got really, really excited about it, because he left everything that he was doing and he just listened to Carl. And after that, he came to me and he was like, I just met this guy. He's really nice. He has a really nice game. We need to talk with him after the fair today. This is something. I feel it. So he was like, I really feel it. So after the first day of the convention, when we met Carl, we met again. So we actually played it. And I just remember That night, going to bed, I was super tired because we had like convention day all time, but I couldn't sleep at all because I was just like researching sharks and octopuses behaviors and looking at YouTube documentaries, and my brain was like, oh my God, if we had this, we can do so much with it. It's such a nice story to tell. So I know that I got really, really excited. And we actually did a handshake deal during the convention, and we were like, yeah, we will do it. So he was like a first-time designer. We were kind of a first-time publisher. We had a card game, but the card game is nothing compared to a game like KELP from its complexity. And we just felt really good with each other as a team and said, let's go for it. And then we made a plan. We made the contract, and once everything was signed, we just started working on it and knew that this is going to be our project for the next 12 months at least. Yeah.
What was the designer's name again?
Carl Robinson.
Kyle? Okay, Kyle Robinson. So was he seeking you out at the convention, Assen?
Yeah, he actually did. He also had meetings with other publishers that turned him down, but he had researched us from our previous Kickstarter, and he noticed that we had just a Kickstarter where we put a lot of love into the details, and he thought we would be a good partner to do a crowdfunding campaign, like to bring his game through Kickstarter to market. That was his idea. In the beginning, that's what he told us afterwards. I thought he had actually seen us because we had put like neon posters all over the walls because we wanted to just be seen, because we had such a small booth and we were just in a corner. But he had actually researched us beforehand, which was really nice.
That's so cool. So when he came to you, how complete was the game?
It was on design-wise, it was already pretty much finished. We did develop it further. We did do some final touches. We did switch some things around, but we didn't change a lot because the game was really well designed already. It didn't look good, so we did all the illustrations and graphic design and everything. But this is normal. Like, he's a great game designer, not a great illustrator, obviously. So that's also what we love to do. Get this project that looks really raw and just make it beautiful.
Yeah, it does look beautiful. I think both the projects that you launched look beautiful. So I can see why he was seeking you out, because of the attention to detail that you put into things. So now looking at the actual launch for KELP on Kickstarter, it did 1.4 million euros, as we talked about, but it did 133,000 on the very first day, which is a huge amount. Most people, it's only 1.8% of all Kickstarter campaigns ever even hit the 100,000 mark. So doing it in one day is, it's a pretty big accomplishment, big milestone that not a lot of creators actually hit. How did you do that?
That's a great question. That's a question that we get asked a lot since we finished the campaign. But in the end, we believe the whole project and the success of the campaign was just a big puzzle, and we had a lot of great pieces that worked really well together. So we know that the game is really good. We made it look really beautiful. We went to tons of conventions before we even started running ads. We traveled from Germany to the US, went to Gen Con, we went to the UK Games Expo, to the biggest one, we went to Essen, we went to smaller conventions in Belgium as well. So we were just like trying to get the game in front of people. We did get a lot of coverage after the conventions anytime we went somewhere, which is really cool as well. We sent out the game to a lot of content creators that could play it and give us feedback. And shortly before running the Kickstarter, or starting the Kickstarter, we started running ads, which was also really good and really effectful. And we joined your program, which also helped get more interest than we did in the previous campaign, where we did spend a lot of money and didn't get that great of a return. So I think it's just like a mix of a lot of things that need to really work well together. And probably we also had a little bit of luck. We knew that the 2-player game is a unique selling point. We did have so many discussions before launching with the distributors that told us it's 2-player, the interest is not going to be that high. But we believe if we make a really dedicated 2-player game, we're going to find the people. We know it because there are so many couples out there that really like to play games like after work. And they probably have kids and don't have time to meet like big gaming groups and stuff. So we know that the 2-player market has to be big. That was our assumption. And yeah, I think that's what's worked well. Everything worked well together.
Nice. Yeah, definitely is a big puzzle piece. I think so what we've seen is like a big part of the puzzle piece is building up an audience prior to launch. How big of an audience or email list did you build leading into the launch?
So we did have like 2,000 email list before we started promoting KELP from our previous campaign. And then during our whole convention and just posting like regularly on social media, we got maybe 500, 600 people on top, something like that. And when we started running ads, it went up to 8,000 people in 2 months, which is really crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy. Could you explain, like, when you say like running ads, like what is that actual system? You know, like you're running ads where are they going? And then how are you actually building the email list?
So we did run ads on Facebook and Instagram before the campaign. We did use the $1 strategy that you guys suggested us to use, which was really effective. We totally believe that if we offer something with value to the backers and they want to buy into it first and they trust us enough to give us $1 beforehand, we will give them something back that has a higher value, and they are giving us information that we need to plan the campaign. So this is what we believed in the system. We also ran ads that went directly to the Kickstarter page, so we could get the follower account like also growing just on the Kickstarter page. So we did like a mixture of both. And once the campaign started, we worked with another agency that ran the ads for us, and they also did a lot of YouTube and Google ads. And actually, the YouTube pre-roll ads were really effective as well. I wouldn't have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who did you work with?
We worked with Camp from Spain. They were really nice.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those are good guys for sure. Good company.
Yeah, and they ran a lot of pre-roll ads. And the most fascinating thing was that we sent. Well, they installed like a software. I'm gonna start again. They installed a survey that was sent out to all the backers once they pledged, and they could give us feedback on like why did you back the campaign and where did you see us and stuff like that. And a lot of people wrote, I saw the ad on YouTube, and I just saw the pre-roll without clicking skip, and I was like, oh, that's cool. People do.
Yeah, people are actually watching the ad.
Exactly.
We want them to. That's great.
Exactly.
So it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back, if you don't mind, just a little bit on the whole like $1 thing, because I do think like some people have maybe some confusion around like what is the purpose of it. It's almost like some people are like, it's a dollar. Almost seems like, why even do that? Or like, why even ask for that? Like, what is the value for the creator and for the backer as well by doing this type of system? Could you explain? I mean, you mentioned a little bit about it, but even going a little bit more into why did you end up using that strategy, or why do you think it's effective for your campaign or even for creators to use it?
So I think the most important thing to know is that even if you collect a lot of email addresses, it doesn't mean that people are really interested in following up with it. It's so easy to just enter your email and then you just forget about it and never react to it. And people get emails, like so many emails a day. Some of them will land in the spam folder, others will just get deleted right away. So just collecting an email address by itself doesn't really have that much value, in my opinion. And we know that because when we ran our previous Kickstarter campaign, we collected the 2,000 email addresses, but we had a really, really bad return on the people that actually gave us the email that came back and backed the campaign. So when we talked to Maria, the idea behind it was that if someone is that interested in the project and is already willing to like give you €1 so that you get something in return. So we offered a mini expansion for €1 instead of €6. Like it's a €5 saving. Some people would think it's not that much, but others are like, why not? If I plan to back it or I'm interested, I'm gonna take it. And in that way, we know that we have people that are really interested with it and they already trust us. And we gather that information and can kind of like calculate how the response will be. That's the basic idea behind it. I think what's also very important that we wanted to make sure is that we had enough information about the game, about us, even before we started running ads. So there were a lot of videos out there, a lot of content. We had been to conventions, etc., etc. So we were not like just popping out of the blue and saying, please give us money, and you don't know who we are. So we wanted to build trust beforehand and then get the trust back from potential backers.
Right. And I would say that it seems like that worked. It definitely seems like it did.
Yeah.
Also, I like how you're talking about how there's a lot of other things that you did as well, not just with let's say like the advertising strategy, but all the work you put into building up trust for the brand that helped. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think especially in the board game community, the community is not that big and the audience is not that big, and it's a rare industry where backers or players actually have really direct access to creators. So we want to be accessible, and we want people to know us and trust us and know that we want to make good games.
Right. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to point out was, you're talking about the difference in terms of the effectiveness of your ads for your first campaign versus the second campaign. You were talking about the pre-launch ads, and the first one was just collecting email addresses, and the second one was collecting email addresses, and the $1 or €1 reservation was part of it as well, and that one performed better, right, in terms of getting a better return on your advertising. And the reason why I want to point this out to just everyone listening is that it is hard to launch a campaign. It's hard to launch a campaign in general. I think it's part of the difficulty is it can be expensive as well, to do everything, but even just looking at the marketing, or to creating the game, et cetera, et cetera. And so trying to get a higher return is not only going to be good for creators and them being able to, let's say, not go under in launching the product, but also for backers, as I think as well, in the long run, because you're allowing the creator to actually build the game, in this case, in a way that doesn't, put them in the hole, it is a profitable way of doing it, which is important. And I think sometimes people might miss that is actually, it's really important that creators are able to do the things like the marketing and everything in a profitable way. It will ultimately lead to happier backers as well.
For sure. Totally, I would totally sign that. And there is a lot of conversation about it, if this is like just a marketing trick or something. And I mean, of course, it's a marketing strategy, but I mean, nowadays there is so much competition out there. There's so many games. There's so much advertising running, like live. Like every person gets confronted with so much content all the time. If you want to bring something to market or you want to launch something, you need to do something to stand out. So marketing is everywhere. And as long as you're honest, and this is what we really wanted to do, we wanted to be trustworthy, we wanted to have content out there, and we gave the option for people to join, and then those people would get a reward instead. So it's like giving and taking at the same time. I think it's a valid strategy.
Yeah. I think as long as you make it a win-win for everyone, there's nothing that's, let's say, a trick, or there's no manipulation tactics happening, right? Manipulation has like a negative connotation. It's a persuasive tactic, but that's not inherently unethical, let's say, unless it.
No, exactly.
Yeah. So let's keep moving. So you have a great big launch day one, and you already talked about you worked with Backer Camp when it came to the ads. Ads I'm assuming, was probably the biggest driver of revenue to the campaign, correct?
Yeah, we did work with them starting day 4 actually. So the first 4 days we didn't run ads. So we did run ads, but I did spend maybe 200 euros or something because I honestly just didn't have time to program them because I was so busy responding to comments and everything. And at some point I was like, oh, we have to do the ads and the newsletter, and everything was just it was wild. Like the launch was really wild. We didn't expect it to launch like that. And we also ran out of stretch goals on day 2. So that was, a bit hectic.
Those are all good problems, I would say.
Yeah. In the end, yeah.
So could you tell us, like, how much did you actually spend on advertising? You know, I think there's a lot of almost mysticism behind, you know, what goes into, or how much ad budget do creators put in to reach let's say $1 million campaign?
Yeah. So we did, like, before the campaign, we spent around like 15,000 euros on ads. And during the live campaign, when we worked with BackerKit, we just told them, as long as they're profitable, you can scale, because why wouldn't you if they are profitable? And we did get an average return on ad spend of like 350%. So every euro we put in, we got 3.5 times the amount back. And we did end up spending like on a lower six-figure number on ad spend. So it's a lot of money that went into it. Yeah. Right.
But as long as you can show the actual returns that you're getting, every dollar you put in, you're getting $3.50 back, or euros in this case. Keep going if that is actually profitable for your campaign, for whatever you're launching.
Exactly, because we reached a point where we were like, okay, now if we're spending so much money on ads and we're getting a return, we want to make the highest print run possible so we can also like come down on costs. And we are able to include new stretch goals that people are asking for, because those make the product more expensive again. But if there are more people, then the price comes down again. And so that's why at some point it's like, okay, we need to make sure that they are profitable. And as long as they are, we just scale. Yeah.
Did you have all of that figured out before you ended the campaign? By that, I mean, let's say the price breaks that you get once you hit certain order volumes?
Not for that quantities, because we went into the campaign expecting to end with like 200,000 50 euros, kind of. 250,000 euros, sorry. That was our expectation, and having that, like, I think day 2 or day 3 or something really changed the plan. But I did like write to the manufacturer and was like, Helen, that's my contact person. I've been in touch with her like for a year. Like, we write daily emails. I was, Helen, you have to be with us the next 28 days. I'm gonna be sending you 5 emails a day asking for new quotes. Please help us, because we're gonna be changing a lot. And I can't say we did really have great support. I also had all the logistics companies there. It was like, okay, we're including more things. The game will be a bit heavier. What will shipping be? Because we have to announce that if people want to have more games or whatever, they have to pay more shipping and stuff like that. So everyone was really standby, helping us just be aware of the costs increasing and everything. Yeah.
That's it. Who are you using for manufacturing?
We are gonna work with. We're working with What's Games.
Okay, awesome. Good company as well. Love hearing it. Yeah, this is also the questions that everyone's always asking. I'm sure you've been asked these questions a million times from creators. Who are you working with? All these people.
Yeah.
Or to help you do everything. Okay, so campaign ends. You know, now what? What are you focusing on now? What's taking up most of your time currently?
Well, when the campaign ended, 2 days before the campaign ended, we discovered the counterfeit situation on the internet. That was a bit surprising, because I just Googled KELP because I wanted to know if there are like new blog entries, YouTube videos, whatever other content. We discovered our images all over Amazon and eBay. So that took up a lot of my time when ending, and it was a really frustrating experience, because like e-commerce sites like Amazon and eBay are not the fastest and greatest platforms to respond. But at the same time, we just said, okay, we need to spend X amount of hours to solve this, but we are not going to have this like influence the production timeline or anything like that. And we did actually believe in the beginning that the company copying our game and making all the listings just wanted to do a fast cash grab and would never actually produce a game with that many components as our game. But in the beginning of January, on the 3rd of January, they actually started delivering. So we got the first email saying, hey, I got the game, it's great, but the rulebook is missing. And we were like, what?
Oh, really? I didn't know they were delivering.
Yeah, they are delivering. They look horrible. Like the board is just a poster. And they have also not all the complete components and everything. It's just a mess. But they are delivering, and some people did believe that it must be the real game because they didn't really tell us from the beginning. They were like, oh, it's a great game. And like, are you really looking at the components you have in front of you? Come on. That doesn't look good. But so we actually went public with it, if you want to call it like that. We sent an update to our 20,000 backers, and we posted all over social media because at some point we needed help. We can't fight a bot from a criminal Chinese company, because they are from China, we know that for sure, that are creating listings left and right just by ourselves when Amazon is not helping. So we did ask the community for help, and they actually they went to war with us. That was really amazing. That's the power of the community for sure.
Right. Power of 20,000 backers behind you. That's good to see. Well, yeah, I'm sorry you're going through that. I mean, I'm glad that the community is coming forward to help as well. Just last question on that. I mean, do you feel like you, I don't know, like have a solution to this problem, or like what is, I guess, your plan going forward to combat the counterfeit?
Yeah, when we went public, we actually got a lead to someone at Amazon. So I finally managed to talk to a person at Amazon that helped us get the listings down. They are still helping, but other platforms like eBay or Frugo, never heard of that website before, don't really respond as they should. This company is actually running ads on the fake listings. They are spending money on Google and on eBay and on Amazon to get the listing sold. They have probably noticed that we are in Germany and are actually getting a lot of them removed, because they have now changed all the listings not deliverable to Germany. So when I research them, I don't find them anymore, but I know they are out there. So I get them sent by other people. We have talked to lawyers. We are talking to a company that will be handling like cease and desist letters and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go forever, because once we have the game, we will actually like dominate the listings kind of. But counterfeit situations, they will last for sure. I don't think this particular company with this particular poor quality will last. But who knows what will come our way at some point later on.
Right. Yeah, I think especially because if people are getting poor quality delivered to them, you know, it's like once the reviews start going back, I'm sure it's not going to be anything that's going to be massively damaging. But yeah, I'm sorry that you have to keep dealing with this. Again, glad the community's got your back, and thanks for explaining that to the creators as well that are listening to this, because it can definitely happen. Something that's a reality just to be aware of. Well, moving on from that, you mentioned at the beginning that Wonderbow Games is not your full-time thing. And again, like I said, it's a 1.4 million euro game, euro campaign, excuse me, and it still isn't your full-time thing. So like but you also said it would accelerate it. Like what will it take for Wonderbow to be your full-time gig? And is that what you want? I think you mentioned that, but just to confirm, is that what you're looking to do?
Definitely. So we definitely want it to be a full-time job at some point, because it's just a lot of fun. Like honestly, if we can spend the whole day just talking about games, making games, playing games, that's it's like a dream come true. But I mean, it's a Kickstarter. It's very successful. It is certainly a lot of money. We have a lot of costs. We are not millionaires like anytime soon, but we don't want to just rest on one popular game. Like now our goal is to use that popularity that we have and try to make as many connections as we can into a regular distribution, and try to like broaden our portfolio of games and just become a publisher and establish ourselves step by step as a publisher. And if we can also sell other games and not only KELP, then we will hopefully like turn this into a full-time job, but we can't depend on one game only.
Got it. So you have a few more games that are listed on your website. Then you also have another one that's in the pre-launch stage on Kickstarter. When are those launching?
So the other games that we have on the website, apart from Hunters of the Lost Creatures and KELP, those are licenses. So we are actually, for the German market, we are licensing games from other countries, from other publishers. And we're also taking another game that we have on the website also to the US market, which we haven't announced yet. But we have been meeting people from all over the world, and we are scouting for games and just trying to have a bigger portfolio. And we're working on some other developments, but those will take a bit more time for sure until we actually know when we will launch. We don't know that yet. No.
Okay. And what about the one that's currently in pre-launch on Kickstarter? When is that planned to launch?
That would also take a bit more time. We made the pre-launch page a bit prematurely. We are not there yet, but we just leave it up.
Okay, awesome. And then lastly, so when is KELP looking to ship?
So if everything goes according to plan, we will be able to deliver to backers in October. This is our plan. We hope that all the political situation on the Suez Canal are done by then, because otherwise it's going to take a really long time until we get the games to Europe. It's not going to be a problem for the US, but it's going to be a problem for Europe. And so we hope by the end of this year we can deliver to backers first. That's our promise. And then just go to retail with our retail edition.
Awesome. One last question is, there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast and we talk to a lot of people every day that are they have ideas for games that they might want to launch, and they have like their full-time thing, usually a job that they're working, a full-time job that they're working at, and they have this dream of launching their own game and going full-time, like what you want to do as well. You're a little bit ahead, right? You've launched 2 games so far on Kickstarter. What would be like your advice to someone that has not launched yet, and they're even kind of like on the fence about launching? Like what are the first steps that they should take to bring their idea to life, to actually launch their game on Kickstarter?
So I would say the first step that you should do is research. Like really look, is it worth it that I spend so much time and energy and money on a game? Do I know that the game doesn't exist already? So this is very, very important. And then just ask yourself, are you really willing to put that much time and energy into a project? Because it is a lot of work. And I think the best thing is talk to people that have done this and get as much feedback as you can. And another thing that I also recommend creators when they are doing their own project is always ask yourself, like, do people understand what I'm doing? Because I think at some point a creator needs to also zoom out and just see, like, they're so involved in their project that they might miss something that other people don't understand. So if I have a great game and I have a great story to tell and I have great graphics and a great Kickstarter page, like, is it really that great? Zoom out and ask yourself, if I don't know anything about the project, do I understand do other people understand what I really want to tell them? So just try to get a second perspective on everything you do.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, and thanks for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. So Laia, thanks again.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mark.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.